Buying cars with Cameron. Today we are looking at the cheapest Ferraris you can buy in Australia today. Now that means we're going to have to jump onto the dark end of the low to high range of car sales sites. So we're going to jump in today and check it out. So we're going to jump in today and check what Italian stallions we can get for pennies on the dollar. Now what you saw was my old Sydney studio. Here's my Canberra setup because this is where I'm normally hanging out for the best part of the year. You join me next to my lovely editing machine here, as well as accompanied by a GT2 RS, which is very exciting. But here we're going to jump straight into the low to high range of Ferrari. Now we're greeted with a nice 488 GTB, but I just don't think we're going to get that sort of caliber at the low to high. So here we go. All right, so jumping into the most undesirable Ferraris ever made, the Ferrari Mondiale Quattrovalvole. Valvole. Built in 1987, this is the convertible version. We're already at $80,000 here, and yes, you can get a genuine Ferrari for $80,000, but it's a Ferrari Mondiale. There's been countless conversations about this being the next collector Ferrari, but my big asterisk is put right next to that claim because check this out. This is the epitome of the 80s. No, the Countach is not the epitome of the 80s. This is. Have you ever seen something so boxy, pop-up headlights, and missing half of its roof? And check out that rag top. It's got nice little creases in it. Still though, very, very distinguishable as a Ferrari, but just not the sexy ones we're used to. And it's a 2+2 by the looks of it. You do have some usable seats back there, but you could not pay me enough to be in those back seats for more than 30 meters. Now, let's jump out of that. It's got decent Ks, but I can imagine a Ferrari from 1987 would not be the most desirable to be owning and working on. So let's move on. Ooh, here we go. A 1980 Ferrari 308 GTS. Now, what I've heard is that you have Ferrari collectors who have everything from the LaFerrari Aperta all the way back to the 250 GTO, and apparently they all have 308 GTSs that they love to drive. So let's check this one out. I'm always sus of these cheaper Ferraris because people like to make replicas, and that's a bit offensive because at the naked eye on a small tile screen like this, you're not going to tell the difference until you start scratching the surface. But for all intents and purposes, this looks pretty legit. 110,000 kilometers. Normally replicas have lower kilometers on them. Manual, very nice. And the classic Ferrari V8. Gotta love that. And this is very much of the times in the 80s. It's got all the pop-up headlights and everything like that. Oh, I love those quad tailpipes. Okay, all right. This seems pretty legit to me. And it's the Targa top. Nice. All right. Looks like this person loved Ferraris. I'm not sure that they all came with a 308 badge on the inside like this, but the GT badge looks pretty legit, or GTS badge I should say. Gated stick shift manual. Look at that, and what the hell is that? Look at those dials, look at all this. Oh, I love that. Look, such a passionate owner. They have all the carpets out. Gotta love that. The steering wheel cover, the Ferrari dash cover, because those Ferrari dashes do get a bit sticky. And it's a left-hand drive, so that's probably the reason why it's going for so cheap. You can own a 308, but you have to drive it on the wrong side of the road here in Australia. Mid-engine, awesome. Although, if I was buying this, I'd look at the condition of the engine bay and say, could be a good thing that it's dirty and it hasn't needed a lot of attention, or could be a bad thing because who knows what's hiding under there. But nonetheless, a manual 308 GTS, I think you'd be pretty happy with that. And that's only 95 grand. Now, as we go further down, now this is one of my most favorite Ferraris because it featured in a prominent Daft Punk music video, the 1978 Ferrari 400A. So this has 91,000 Ks, although you could say it's the precursor or predecessor to the Ferrari FFs and GTC4 Lusos of the world today. It also sort of carried on that lineage of the Ferrari 250 Lusso in terms of being a front-engined Ferrari, 2 doors, relaxing GT. I really have a soft spot for these cars because I think they look really cool. Although they're not your typical Ferraris, they're sort of like a modern rendition of what the 250 Lusso was back in the day. Now, it is a bit boxy, I will admit that, But check out that interior. Look at that dash back in 1978, how it meets the center console like that, and the center console comes all the way down, and these big dials, and they got the important things up there, the beautiful Ferrari steering wheel. I mean, the automatic you could probably put up with, but I mean, that V12 would be almost priceless to rev out. Now it's really cockpit-like, and the new Ferrari Roma is not too dissimilar to this. If you check out the pictures of the new Ferrari Roma, they've sort of got this separated cabin, and that's similar to what is happening here in the Ferrari 400. So, I mean, it's a beautiful car, and I really, really adore these cars, but yeah, again, it's an automatic, and it's not really your typical Ferrari, so who knows what resale values are going to do, but I can't imagine these going too far south of where this one sits at 99,000, although it does have a few Ks on it, and for a Ferrari, they're not really known for going hundreds of thousands of kilometers before they sort of need big amounts of money thrown at them. Now we have a Ferrari 308 GTSI. Look at this manual. You're gonna feel like you're almost coming out of Miami Vice with this target top. Look at that. And I love these wheels on these Ferraris. The older Ferraris sort of like these, they had these cool alloys that just really suited the design of the car, and I do like the beefier sidewall, although the trend is now to get rid of that sidewall and make your tires as low profile as possible. I do much prefer in these older cars to have the beefier sidewall because I think that's really, really cool. Now this one is your quad pipes at the back. I think the color is gorgeous. Oh, that's looking like a clean V8 mid-engine right there. Check that out. Oh, I mean, ooh, look at that interior. Look at that. That is something. I don't know if that's factory or not, but that's really going with this blue theme. I mean, I thought I was committing with the exterior, but dang, that's a bright interior, all right. And again, it's a left-hand drive, so you have to put up with that too. And that was on 37,000 K, so pretty low, but the 3-liter V8 is pretty desirable. In terms of being easy to sort of drive around, and it's a manual as well, but yet again, it's a left-hand drive, and driving a left-hand drive in a country that drives right-hand drive cars is just a bit of a pain. As we go down, this is really cracking into Miami Vice vibes. You've got a Targa white Ferrari with 115,000 Ks on it, 308 GTSI by the beach. Would you want to be anywhere else? Look at this. This looks just cracking, and I really like the Ferrari emblem in terms of how it contrasts against white paint. Like, you've got the Ferrari emblems, like the little yellow dots on each wheel, and you've also got the scooter rear shield on the front. Again, left-hand drive, but I think this color combo is a lot more classic Ferrari in my opinion. It's like you have some trim issues happening there, but hey, and some New Balances. There you go, look at that. This person owns a 1980s car for sure. Now, yeah, this is a really cool car. I do like these mid-engine Targa top Ferraris with the pop-up headlights. That one has been looked after well, I can tell you that much. That person loves their car. So if you're looking for a cheap 308 GTSI manual, that would probably be the pick in terms of your cheapest Ferraris we've seen so far. And we're just gonna go a little bit further because I think it'd be unfair to stop at 110,000 considering that a Ferrari Roma goes for this much. Oh, and the new F8 Tributo goes for this much. Oh, and don't forget the 812 GTS, which goes for this much. Oh, and the SF90 Stradale that we looked at quickly in our last video, yeah, that goes for this much. So yeah, we kind of get the short end of the stick in terms of cheaper Ferraris here. So we're going to push on a little bit further in the price range. Now we have a dusty looking 1999 456 M GTA. Right, here we go. So this was sort of like the 400A sort of successor. This one's looking a little dusty, but it could be the photos. The photos do sort of weird things like that in terms of the shadows, make it look a little dusty. But the 456M sort of slid under the radar a little bit. So did the 612 Scaglietti, I should say. These are the cars before the FF and the GTC4 Lusso. I say those because those are the ones that people know about as being the prominent four-seater Ferraris today. Again, front engine V12, and again, an automatic, but hey, at least Ferrari made an attempt with this automatic. It looks a lot prettier than it did in the 400A, and that interior is very fitting, but when I see these steering wheels, I just feel sticky buttons in terms of if you've ever stepped in a Ferrari made between this period, you just know what I'm talking about. It's this residue or whatever coating they use. It gets touched by a bit of sunlight, and the instant it does, it becomes this gross, sticky, disgusting button. So avoid that, but that's what that steering wheel is giving me vibes of. But hopefully this one doesn't have the sticky button. Now I'll keep pushing on. We've got a Ferrari Dino GT4. Now if I recall, I think Top Gear did a series where this was declared one of the most undesirable Ferraris. I can sort of see where they're coming from.
I bought a Ferrari.
No, you haven't.
It is a Ferrari.
It just isn't a Ferrari.
What Richard had bought was never originally called a Ferrari. It was so slow and wet, it was actually called a Dino.
It's a Dino. The Dino badge means a lot in Ferrari speak. But yeah, this is I think this is a bit of a misunderstood car, this one. Poor thing, it sort of gets a bit of a rap as being a not super desirable or recognizable Ferrari, because you say you've got a Dino, everyone pictures that 6-cylinder model. No one's really picturing this one, but it's a good legacy. It's a Bertone design. I mean, it looks really nice. In any condition, not as good as this, you probably would be expecting to pay a lot less than 125 grand. Oh, here we go. So this is a 1991 Ferrari 348 TB manual. Now, this is what we're talking about. Two-piece wheels, very appropriate for a 90s car. Look at those Testarossa style stripes down the side and that intake. Oh man, I really like one of these. These are great looking cars in my opinion. I love sort of like the flying buttress or floating buttress if that's a window through there. But yeah, I think this looks really cool. Again, left-hand drive. Yeah, I mean, a car this modern and you're paying this much, do you really want a left-hand drive in a right-hand drive country? And here we go. The cheapest Ferraris you can buy, this is the 360 Spider with the F1 transmission, one of the worst automatic transmissions that Ferrari did. Very cheap though, $137,000. I believe these cars were probably around $300,000 to $400,000 when they came out. So not so bad if you want a mid-engine, modern-looking Ferrari that everyone would think is worth a lot more than what you actually paid for it. Now, these cars, they're a bit hit and miss. This one looks like it's been very well looked after, and the photos sort of in Australia, sort of car sales world, good photos usually reflect a passionate owner and someone who's taken care of the car and they love the car and they really want to share that passion to the next person. I would say go for it, because this one looks fantastic. Even though the F1 transmission is not that good, it's not going to bother you if you've never known anything other than this gearbox. If you've driven a manual Ferrari, you're going to be a bit disappointed. If you've driven the new dual clutches, you're going to be very disappointed. But this, just go in. If you've never had a Ferrari, this would be my pick in terms of your first modern Ferrari. Now we're gonna jump on, oh, here we go. This is a great looking one. This one's looks like it's at Lorbeck Luxury Cars, 139 grand, 60,000 Ks. The only thing I don't like about the 360 is the headlights. There's something just too clear about it. I'm seeing too much of the headlight. I kind of like a bit of shrouding or a bit more of aggressive design. That's the only thing I don't really love. Also, I think the front's a bit too pinched compared to the F430. Of course, who doesn't like seeing the engine on the rear deck on your convertible anyway? That is one of the coolest things ever. So, I mean, go out and buy a 360 by any means. Don't think anything less of it. I think it's a very respectable Ferrari. But if you gave me the choice between an F430 or a 360, I would be going for the F430. However, second-hand prices do reflect that. So now that's where I'm going to pull a pin on our cheapest Ferraris that we've had a look at. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any comments you want to make, any suggestions you want to see, let me know in the comments below. Leave a like if you like the video. I'll see you on the next episode of Buying Cars with Cameron. Thank you for joining. I'll see you next time. Bye.